This digital story aims to discuss a technology-based issue in my current teaching context. I will then explore literature that supports discussion of the issue, and from that come up with strategical approaches to solve the issue at hand. There will also be an interview with my teaching partner in kindergarten to gauge her thoughts throughout the story. The first area to be covered is, what is the issue related to technology in my school, and why have I chosen to investigate it further? My current teaching context is a 3-day-a-week kindergarten class in an Anglican school in Brisbane. There is a very high expectation on the use of technology in the classroom, this meaning that we are required to do a certain amount of time per week on the 2 devices that the school has provided for the children, that being iPads and Surface Pros. Specifically, we are required to schedule a time in our weekly planning for the children to complete at least one 20-minute block on a singular app on the iPads. The app at hand is one that links with the school's Chinese program that they engage in on a weekly basis. I believe this therefore restricts a lot of time in an already crowded program for a 3-day-a-week class, as we are expected to run a play-based yet academic program as well. I have 20 students in my class, so by the time each child obtains their 20 minutes of iPad usage per week, that is 400 minutes or almost 7 hours per week that is taken up just by each child using this one particular app. There is also a large amount of time ensuring that children do not get distracted on the iPads and complete that certain amount of time. When I take into consideration that I only have 19.5 hours per week with my group, that is a very large amount of time that is taken up by one singular app. My main issue is that sometimes I feel replaced as a teacher due to the amount of time taken up by the use of iPads. Even though the technology is a fantastic resource and the children enjoy using it, they need to also be learning different ways to become critical thinkers and problem solvers. I'm worried that due to the amount of time taken up by this one particular app, the children are missing out on valuable face-to-face learning. I chose this particular issue as not only I feel this way. After discussions with my teaching partner, we have similar apprehensions about the time spent on this one app. When I asked her about why she has similar thoughts toward this app, she replied with,
"We do spend a lot of time on this one app when there are plenty of other things that we could be doing to better enrich their learning. Also, it is not a numeracy or literacy based app, which is what the school also pushes, so it is hard to fit everything in at once."
Therefore, knowing that another colleague feels the same way I do, this gave me enough grounds to explore this issue and see if it is a common one within the educational world. The literature that is about to be discussed will fundamentally be about how technology shouldn't replace teachers in the classroom. An article by educational columnist Ian Quillen, titled "Can Technology Replace Teachers?" discusses how technology does provide good resources to teachers and students, but it shouldn't replace face-to-face learning. This coincides with my issue, as I am worried that the amount of time taken up by using the iPads alone cuts into critical teaching time. At a school where Quillen did a study, one of the teachers there said the aim was to work with their teachers and support all instruction that they were doing, including technology. This would be helpful in my context due to me feeling like I'm not teaching enough, and extra help in the classroom would be appreciated to ensure everything gets done. When I brought this article to my teaching partner, I asked if she would appreciate the extra help in the classroom. Do you feel like that if we had extra help in the classroom for technology education, you would feel better about getting all the work done?
Yeah, definitely. If someone was able to monitor the children on the iPads, while myself and my teacher aide could do literacy/numeracy activities, it would make a whole world of difference.
I feel like I wouldn't have to worry as much about them getting distracted and not completing the app properly if we had an extra set of eyes and hands available.
Very true.
The second piece of literature to explore is an article by Howard Boudin called "Technology and the Teacher's Role." This article was written when computers began entering the classroom more frequently and teachers were worried that it could take over the classroom completely. Even though this article is quite old, it is very relevant to the teaching world today. If teachers were worried 25 years ago about how technology impacted their teaching then, imagine how much more of an issue it has become since then. With technology advancing by the minute, it is no wonder that teachers can feel the pressure with using technology efficiently. Alongside this point, the main area that Budin is exploring is how he believes that teachers are more and more being told what to teach, rather than the teachers making the decisions for themselves. He says, teachers are no longer able to make decisions for their own planning, but are rather teaching instructional programs designed by others. He is really stressing that he feels like teachers are getting their voices taken away and instead have to teach things they might not necessarily want to. In relation to using technology in the classroom, he comments that instead of teachers being told what to use, they should be having training as to how best to implement it in the classroom and therefore be able to make decisions themselves as to how to incorporate it into their planning. I feel Budin resonates with my current teaching context as we are being told that we have to use this certain app each week. As he discussed, I should be able to decipher whether or not this app is useful to my students and apply a time limit on it myself. Budin also discusses the term replacing. This talks about how teachers may feel replaced by technological devices. He discusses that technology is intelligent and can deliver information succinctly, which may cause teachers to feel threatened. Relating back to my own teaching context, again this resonates with me in some ways. I do feel threatened at times by the use of technology, but mainly because I worry that the children are missing out on other learning. After delivering this literature to my teaching colleague, this is what she had to say about Budin.
I think Budin relates to some things that we are feeling. I agree with what he is talking about and can see how it relates to our current context. I feel that being younger teachers, we have enough knowledge about technology and how to teach with it successfully. But I also agree that we should be able to dictate how much time we spend on the devices accordingly.
The final piece of literature to explore before discussing our solutions is an article by Robert Cosma titled Learning with Media. Similarly to Budin, Cosma emphasises that teachers are still needed more than technology. While Budin discusses more about how teachers may feel replaced by technology, Cosma talks about how teachers are still needed to differentiate the use of technology to suit all learner types. This creates a whole new spin on the use of technology. If we are forcing children to use one particular app, it might not be catering for their individual learning needs. Cosma believes that teachers should still be needed to make decisions as to whether that certain type of technology will best aid that child's learning. This is interesting, as with my current teaching context, the school has said that we are only to use one app. They might not have thought about how this one app may not be catering for all learning types. That is where Cosma reinforces that the teacher is still needed in order to make these decisions as to whether or not it is useful for their children or not. Again, when I presented this to my teaching partner, she seemed a bit taken aback by it. Have you ever thought about how this one app might not be catering for our students' differing needs? I mean, as it is a repetitive app, they just keep pressing things over and over again and it might not be sinking in.
I hadn't actually. As teachers, we usually make decisions about the best ways our children learn, but as this app is basically forced upon the children, we haven't been able to make decisions as to whether it is beneficial or not.
The first solution to put forward is to ask for helpers to come into class to aid with the technology use. It was obvious from the previous discussion with the literature from Quillen that a key worry was making sure this mandatory app wasn't taking away from critical teaching time. If we were able to gain regular help when we were using the iPads for this one app, then myself could be conducting another face-to-face activity and so could my teacher aide. Therefore, instead of myself or my teacher aide stopping our other activity to check on the iPads, we could focus on our own activities, as another helper would be there to ensure the children stay on task and are completing the activity required. My teaching partner and I also had found that our parents in our class quite enjoy coming in to help anyway, so this could be easily implemented for the both of us. The second solution to be put forward is allowing us as teachers to make our own decisions about how much time on the technology is used. It seems quite simple for this to occur, however my teaching partner and I have felt that we both have been stripped of this, being made to have a certain time on the iPads per week. With our current kindergarten age group, we often make decisions as teachers to cut activities short to our own children's attention spans and needs. If we are given our own discretion about how much time we use on the iPads, it will make class time a lot more efficient. As Budin and Cosma both said, we as teachers should be able to decipher how much time is spent on technology. If another trait of the school is to gain academic traits for the child, they should understand that if we believe the app is not helpful to our students academically, then we should be able to stop using this particular app or cut down on the time used on it. We don't want to stop using the technology altogether. We just want to be able to not feel constraints due to one singular app and be free to use it wherever we can. This report has uncovered many issues with my current teaching context use of technology. It is quite obvious that from research, myself as a teacher shouldn't be undermined as to making decisions about the use of technology in my classroom. As my current workplace dictates to us that we must use this app for a certain time each week, some literature relating to this has been discussed as to best convince them not to approach technology in such way. Research into Quillen uncovered that teachers can feel replaceable by technology, which was happening with my teaching partner and myself. However, with the solution we have come up with in relation to that, which is gaining help in the classroom, makes this mandatory app time feel a bit more achievable in the classroom while we are able to get other things done confidently. After also looking at Cosma and Budin, a second solution was formed from my teaching partner and I, not feeling like we are able to make our own teaching decisions. If we are able to not feel so stressed about ensuring this app is completed for a certain amount of time each week, it would make a world of difference. This digital story will now be presented to our Dean of Junior School to convey our thoughts and feelings towards this app in an educational way. Thank you so much for listening.